You don't need a 25-hour day. You need to identify the invisible leaks in the hours you already have. We often look for a larger container for our tasks, but the hours we own are often draining away before we can use them. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk through a precise 6-step protocol to reclaim your schedule. This framework provides a mathematical formula to value your labor, a biological routine to secure your mornings, and an audit to expose exactly where your day is disappearing. To execute this, you will need 3 tools: a blank spreadsheet, a calendar, and a calculator. Grab them now. Step 1 focuses on the fuel in your tank. Productivity is limited by your physical and mental capacity. When you operate with a depleted battery, a task that should take 1 hour drags into a 3-hour ordeal. Mental energy drains quickly when you carry open loops, unfinished tasks lingering in your working memory. To close these loops, you can employ the positive no framework. This involves setting clear boundaries and declining low-value requests respectfully, preserving your focus while maintaining professional relationships. An empty hour on your calendar has no utility without cognitive fuel to execute the work. Protecting your energy is the only mechanism you have to actually control your schedule. Step 2 is auditing your habits. We consistently fall victim to the planning fallacy, which causes us to underestimate how much time we spend on autopilot. Our brains naturally conserve energy by automating repetitive behaviors, often without our conscious awareness. To break this cycle, we borrow a safety protocol from Japanese railways called pointing and calling. By physically pointing at and speaking the status of a signal, train operators force automated habits back into active prefrontal monitoring. We apply this exact mechanism to our daily schedules. You will apply this active monitoring by building a time audit spreadsheet. For the next 14 days, document exactly what you are doing in 30-minute intervals, documenting deep work against pure distraction. Once you have the data, you apply a habit scorecard. Review your audited routines and rate them, positive, negative, or neutral, based on how they align with your long-term goals. Step 3 is to stop overthinking. Analysis paralysis stems from choice overload, a cognitive freeze when facing too many options. To bypass this, we can use a decision filter favored by Jeff Bezos, dividing choices into Type 1 and Type 2 decisions. Type 1 decisions are nearly irreversible, like walking through a heavy steel door. They require deep analysis. However, the majority of our daily choices are Type 2 decisions. These are two-way doors. They are easily changeable and entirely reversible if the outcome is suboptimal. For any Type 2 decision, set a strict 5-minute timer. Identify the first option that meets your minimum criteria and walk through. Tracking your reality in 30-minute blocks and filtering your choices through the two-way door framework ensures your working memory is dedicated to execution rather than being hijacked by low-stakes anxiety. Step 4 is imposing artificial constraints. In a 1955 issue of The Economist, a British naval historian outlined what we now call Parkinson's Law, the principle that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. Without firm constraints, projects bloat. A famous historical example is the Sydney Opera House. Initially planned to take 4 years, the lack of strict timeline constraints allowed the construction to drag on for 14 years. This same expansion plagues modern workflows. When deadlines are loose, teams drift into overcomplexity and unnecessary revisions, which is why major technology releases, like the Apple HomePod, face massive delays due to unchecked scope creep. The solution is a technique called time boxing. You look at your projected deadline and give yourself half the time you think you need. You break massive projects down into microtasks and assign strict 45-minute deadlines to each one. This tight time frame forces you to prioritize core functions and kills the perfectionism that stalls progress. Enforcing tight constraints forces you to strip away unnecessary complexity. You are left with the core requirements of execution, which maintains quality while increasing speed. Step 5 is guarding your morning. During the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking, your brain transitions from sleep into an active beta state. This window is highly programmable. Checking your phone immediately upon waking floods your brain with external demands. This triggers a dopamine-driven cycle of reactive, novelty-seeking behavior that will leave your attention fragmented for the rest of the day. To secure this window, implement a strict 60-minute technology ban every morning. Replace screens with analog tasks, like writing in a journal or getting outside for sunlight exposure. which naturally regulates your cortisol levels. Managing a schedule effectively requires knowing the financial baseline of your labor. Without this number, delegation feels like a luxury rather than a strategic necessity. Step 6 provides the math to make those decisions objective. This graphic shows the formula for your net productive hourly rate. You take your yearly salary and divide it by your actual working hours, which means subtracting your vacations and holidays. For a $100,000 salary working 1,900 hours, your time is worth exactly $52.63 an hour. You wield this number as a weapon for delegation. If an administrative task costs less to outsource than your calculated hourly rate, doing it yourself means you are actively losing money. Calculating an exact financial value for your time removes the guesswork. It transforms delegation from an emotional luxury into a mathematical certainty. You now have the exact tools for reclamation: a calculated hourly rate to guide delegation, a two-way door filter to kill analysis paralysis, and a protected morning routine to anchor your focus. Avoid trying to overhaul your entire life today. Your immediate next step is singular: set up your time audit spreadsheet. Track your time in 30-minute blocks for just the next 3 days. The data you gather will show exactly where your hours are vanishing, and that reality check will encourage you to take action. You cannot buy a 25-hour day, but by executing this precise protocol, you will extract maximum leverage, output, and freedom from the hours you already own.